Hey guys, what's going on? So again come up with a new video, and this time we will discuss about the sales return under GST. So you are a supplier and you made the sale or the supply to the recipient, but the recipient didn't like your goods, sorry about that, or your goods was deficient. So the supplier now receive the goods back into the place of business. So now the question is how this is gonna process in GST. So you are a supplier and your big question is when you supply the goods, then yes, you paid the tax, but when you receive the goods back into your place of business, then whether you can reduce your output tax liability later on when you receive the goods back from the recipient of supply of that goods or services. So we will discuss about this thing into this video, and this is very common thing, means in a lot of business it happens in often on a monthly daily basis they receive the goods back into a factory or the place of business. So now the question is how this is gonna process in GST. So in this video we will discuss it. So now the first step is that when you supply any goods, then you will issue the tax invoice. But when there is some kind of a deficiency in the goods or services, or the supplier or the recipient doesn't like your goods and then send it back to you, then you have to issue the credit note. Remember that you have to issue the credit note as per section number 34 subsection 1 and 34 subsection 2. So these two provision will be applicable on you: 34 subsection 1, 34 subsection number 2. So you have to issue the credit note. Remember that credit note is always issued by the supplier, not by the recipient, and also recipient will not issue any kind of a debit note. Remember that the only issue of invoice, or you can say any kind of a document, is from the side of the supplier. So he will issue the credit note when the goods will be returned by the recipient of supply of goods or service. So the first step will be that. But now the question is how the credit note looks like, or whether there is any kind of a content which need to be fulfilled before issuing the credit note. So yes, you have to issue the credit note in a certain particular way, or you have to mention certain kind of thing into the credit note, and that is provided in rule number 53 of tax invoice, debit note and credit note rules. So as per these rules, you have to mandatorily write something into the credit note, and there is a lot of thing, but let me tell you two important thing. First one is that you have to also mention the invoice number and the invoice date of the invoice in respect of whom you are issuing the credit note. So earlier you issue the tax invoice, and on the basis of that tax invoice, now you are receiving back the goods into a factory or the place of business because the recipient doesn't like your goods. Then it means that now at the time of issuing the credit note, you have to mention the date and the invoice number of the original invoice in respect of which you are issuing the credit note. And the second important thing is that you have to also mention the taxable value, tax rate, and also the tax amount which is credited to the recipient. The tax amount which is credited to the recipient. So that is the two important thing which you have to mention into that credit note, apart from other thing which is given under rule number 53 of tax invoice, debit note and credit note. So now the question is, okay, you issued the credit note and the credit note content is specified in the under rule number 53, but how your output tax liability is gonna reduce when you issue the credit note? So first of all, you have to show the detail of credit note into the GSTR 1, and the table which is regarding the table in which you have to fill the detail of credit note is table number 9B of the GSTR 1. So you issued the debit note, you issued the credit note in a particular month, then you have to fill the detail in table number 9B of the GSTR 1. And there is the first three column which is regarding the detail of original document. So in that column you have to fill the detail of the original tax invoice in respect of which you are issuing now the credit note. So remember that the detail of original document will be the detail of original document in table number 9B will always be fill out the detail of tax invoice in respect of which you are now issuing the credit note. And when you will fill that data GSTR 1, that data will be auto populated into the GSTR 2A of the recipient, and then when he will accept it, then it will be reflected into the GSTR to table number 6C of the recipient. So when the supplier will fill out the table number 9B, then it will auto populated into the GSTR 2A or the GSTR 2 of the recipient, and it will be given in the table number 6C of the recipient. So when you will fill out the table number 9B, then your output tax liability will be reduced, and when the recipient will show it into the table number 6C of GSTR2, then his input tax credit will be reduced. So when you will file your data in GSTR1, your output tax liability will be reduced and his input tax credit will also be reduced. So that's how it will work. But if suppose you mention some data into table number 9B, but the recipient didn't accept it, I don't know why he didn't accept it, but suppose he didn't accept it. So now how this transaction will flow? So in that case there will be mismatching, and when there will be mismatching between the one recipient and the supplier, then it will be processed or disposed of in accordance with the section number 43 subsection 1 and section number 43 subsection number 2. So that's how it will be work. And in the section number of the credit note is section number 34 subsection 1 and 34 subsection 2. So when the supplier will fill out the detail or they will be mismatching, then it will be disposed of or rectified as per section number 43 of CGST Act. Remember that. So that's how it will work. First you have to issue credit note, and then the content will be as specified in rule number 53, and then supplier will show it into table number 9B of GSTR1. Then it will be auto populated, and the recipient will show it into table number 6C of GSTR2. When there will be any mismatching, then it will be rectified as per section number 43 of the CGST Act. So that's how it's gonna process. So there was a lot of concern of the person who received almost on a daily basis 15 to 20% of the goods which he supplied. So you have to issue the credit note in respect of all those. That is the intention of the law, and you have to issue credit note on every single basis, because there is no other way in which you can process it. So till now you have to do it, and you have to issue credit note in respect of all the supply which you made, and that's how it's gonna process. So I think that is hope that will be helpful to you. And if you have any query, then you can ask me on sharwangst.148@gmail.com, sharwangst.148@gmail.com, or subject to some condition. And I think I've said all the thing. And subscribe to this channel, like the video, and also comment on the comment section. If that will be cool, that I will make another video to give you the reply of your comment. Alright guys, so now we will meet again in the next video. Till then, bye bye.